There are over 700 different Pokemon as of yet, and each and every one of those Pokemon has its own individual design and traits, so what could be harder than choosing 10 of my favorites? Hey guys, PokeDan here, and today I'm counting down my top 10 favorite Pokemon. Now, this is probably my most opinionated top 10 video yet, so please note that if there is a Pokemon that you like that didn't make this list, don't worry because this is just my opinion and I do not speak on behalf of all Pokemon fans. But hey, be sure to tell me who are your favorite Pokemon in the comments and I'll be sure to get back to you when I can. Anyway, enough with the intro, so let's begin. Making this list for me was no piece of cake, but I decided that the Pokemon that would make the number 10 spot is Miss Maggie. I don't really have any personal ties with this Pokemon, but I guess I just like the way it looks. But seriously though, look at this Pokemon. It is just the coolest thing ever. Recently, I've gotten into the Pokemon trading card game, and I was really happy when I managed to pull a reverse Miss Maggie. Looking at this card now, in my opinion, it is probably the best art I've seen on any card, apart from the EXs of course. Miss Maggie to me is just a Pokemon that I don't know why I like it, but I do. Coming in at number 9 is Gliscor. From its design to its anime appearance, there is so much I love about this Pokemon. Back in the day, I was so desperate to have one of these. When I was younger, I didn't really have access to the internet, so my weekends would be devoted to getting a Gliscor. I mean, I knew how to get a Gligar, but the problem I faced was I didn't know how to evolve it. Thankfully, after wanting one for so long, my friend actually showed me how to get one and it was pretty simple. I also like Gligar because of its appearance in the Pokemon anime. If you're new to this channel, heads up, I'm a huge Sinnoh fan. It's the region I started in, and heck, it's even my favourite region. So, you wouldn't be too shocked if I was to tell you that I'm a massive fan of the Sinnoh anime. One of my favourite Pokemon on Ash's team had to be Gliscor. As a Gligar, it was a bit of a baby, and I didn't like that too much. But when it evolved, boy did it go for a personality change. I mean, it was now a confident battler, and it overcame its fears, and I like that. And even though it went through such change in its personality, it was still a funny member on Ash's team. And number 8 is yet another Sinnoh Pokemon, and it is Giratina. Let it be said, I'm not a huge fan of legendary Pokemon, but Giratina has to be my favourite. As you now know, I began my journey in the Sinnoh region, but the first Pokemon game I owned was Pokemon Platinum. I have many fond memories of travelling around Sinnoh, and one of those was capturing the game's mascot, Giratina. Its design is just terrifying, and even though I didn't enjoy the movie itself, I did like Giratina's appearance in the Pokemon movie Giratina and the Sky Warrior. I do have quite a personal bond with Giratina, as it was the first ever legendary Pokemon I encountered, and after I managed to capture it in the Distortion world, I remember sweeping through Sunnyshow City, Victory Road, and even the Pokemon League with it. Like I said, legendary Pokemon aren't my cup of tea, but I just love Giratina. Coming in at number 7 is the first non-Gen 4 Pokemon on this list, and this Pokemon is Zoroark. I really like Zoroark because of its unique ability that allows it to disguise itself as another Pokemon on your team. Yeah, I know Zoroark can also do this, and it is cuter, but Zoroark's design also looks so damn beastly. I remember when I was younger, I thought Zoroark was actually a legendary Pokemon because you could only capture one of them, but I was wrong. And talking about owning a Zoroark, I never did. Well, in Pokemon Black and White that is. As a child, I was too dumb to know how to get Zoroark, and sadly, unlike the whole Gliscor thing where my friend showed me how to get one, this time my friend didn't. But I was happy to get given a Zoroark in Pokemon Black and White too. I called him Wolfie because I'm bad with nicknames and he's kinda like a wolf. At number 6 is another Pokemon that I thought was a legendary and yet another Sinnoh Pokemon, and it is Rotom. I love Rotom. Even though it's a ghost type, it has to have one of the friendliest designs in the game. It is a very unique Pokemon as it possesses the ability to be able to take over a machine and gain a new form. My favourite Rotom form has to be Washing Machine Rotom. I like Washing Machine Rotom because water is one of my favourite abilities in the game, and because this form of Rotom is quite useful in competitive play. With the recent announcement of Rotom Pokedex, I can already tell that Gen 7 is going to be awesome. Okay, so we are now halfway through this list, and coming in at number 5 is the pseudo-legendary of Kalos. It's Goodra. I love the Goodra line, and I also enjoyed Goodra's appearance in the Pokemon XY anime. I remember seeing the whole Kalos Pokedex when it was leaked before Pokemon X and Y came out. I looked at all the Pokemon, and my first impression of a lot of them were, what the heck is this piece of crap? I mean, Klefki, Avalugg, what are these? I mean, if I needed a table, I would just go to IKEA, not play Pokemon. But anyway, then my eyes clapped on to what is the true Pokemon god, Goodra. It's just, I don't know, it's awesome. Like I said, I love Goodra, and if someone else doesn't, because it doesn't look like a pseudo-legendary, then that's fine. You don't like it, but I do. And anyway, that's been it for number 5, Goodra. Coming in at number 4 is Arbok.
And like an Arbok, you know that it's acid I spit.
Oh god, my Pokemon rap. Arbok was the original snake Pokemon, and I really enjoyed tuning in to watch Pokemon and seeing Jessie's Arbok. It was such a loyal Pokemon, and I was so sad to see her have to release it. I love Arbok's design, and I think it's cool how its name backwards is just Cobra, and of course Ekans is Snake backwards. Another reason why I love Arbok is because I got to use one in my Pokemon Platinum Randomizer Nuzlocke. It was a solid member of my team, and for a lot of the playthrough, it was the strongest Pokemon on my team. I was truly saddened when my Arbok fainted and I had to put it in the PC, because Arbok is such a cool Pokemon and I loved having it as a member of my team. But like with Zoroark, I'm not very good at giving nicknames, so my Arbok was known as Cobra. In at number 3 is Infernape. Like Giratina was my first legendary Pokemon, Infernape was my first starter Pokemon. I have tons of fond memories travelling around Sinnoh with Infernape, defeating gyms, collecting badges, facing the Pokemon League. I experienced that all with Infernape. I believe that it's true what people say. You'll always have a strong bond with your first starter Pokemon, and that's why Infernape made it so high on this list. I also really liked Infernape's appearance in the Pokemon anime. I could easily argue that Infernape is one of Ash's strongest Pokemon, and who knows, maybe I'd be right, or maybe I'd be wrong, but in my opinion, it will always be one of my favourite Pokemon on Ash's team. Coming in at number 2 is my mascot. Yep, that's right, Chow is at number 2, and if you are shocked about this, you'll understand why once I reveal who's at number 1. Okay, so yes, Chow is at number 2, and I won't go too much into detail about it because that would ruin number 1. But anyway, Chow is a very unique Pokemon because it's an electric and water type, a typing only shared with 2 other Pokemon. Its evolution Lanturn and Rotom Wash, who we previously mentioned on this list. The reason why I chose Chow to be the mascot of my channel, and the reason why it's on this list, is purely down to how cool it looks. I love the idea of a Pokemon being based on an anglerfish, and to be fair, I am in shock because I don't know how they could make this look like this, what it's based on. A lot of my friends tell me that they prefer Lanturn, and that's fine, but come on, you can't deny how cute Chow is. So yeah, with number 2 done and out of the way, let's see what Pokemon made it to number 1. Okay, so my favourite Pokemon is Luxray. Luxray was one of the first ever Pokemon I caught and used on my team. I was madly in love with it as a Shinx, because of how cute it was, and as a Luxio, I liked it because it was cool, and then once it evolved into a Luxray, I was complete. Luxray looks so badass, and it is a Pokemon that I will forever hold close to my heart. It was one of my first Pokemon, and it's my favourite. But Dan, if Luxray is your favourite Pokemon, why is Chow your mascot? Well, 2 reasons. Firstly, at the time I was choosing what Pokemon would be my mascot, I did consider Luxray, and it was close to being my mascot, but I worried that it may have been someone else's mascot, and I guess that ties in with number 2. Luxray is a very popular Pokemon, and I wanted to have a more unique Pokemon as my mascot. But yeah, I do love this Pokemon. So guys, this has been my top 10 favourite Pokemon. I understand that we don't share the same opinions, so be sure to let me know who some of your favourite Pokemon are in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. But yeah guys, I'm back from my little break, and now I want to bring you the best content I can. But for now, I've been PokeDan, you've been amazing, and I'll see you guys next time.